Yeah, so I started investment promotion around 8 years ago. I worked for a company called Green Cape. The idea was that Green Cape collaborated with Westgrow to promote investment into the green economy in the Western Cape in particular at that time. Westgrow is the official tourism trade and investment partner for the region. And Green Cape being the thought leader in the green economy, there was a natural desire, I guess, for the two companies to collaborate, but also it was a best practice example of investment promotion in somewhat a technical environment or climate. So currently I'm employed by the Atlantis Special Economic Zone as the executive for business development. We are an entity responsible for attracting investment in the green economy, in particular in the manufacturing space. And we aim to promote sustainable manufacturing by providing the greenest infrastructure and platforms available to manufacturers, but at the same time, helping that manufacturer achieve their sustainability goals through implementation of technology into their processes, into their buildings, and into their connected infrastructure. Some of the most exciting developments so far in our view, well, we're effectively a very new SEZ, and we have recently, or we are very rapidly rather, approaching conclusion on our civil infrastructure deployment in phase one of our project, which comprises three large portions of land, and we've broken that up into phases. Phase one we call zone one. We're very close to concluding that. We've also secured our first factory to be built on that zone. And then another notable achievement, I guess, or something we're very excited about, is the fact that we acquired a factory on SEZ land, which was previously tenanted by a green economy manufacturer. And we have subsequently tenanted that facility with a manufacturer looking to achieve some of their sustainability goals as they produce a product destined for the United Nations. So I think SEZs, from an economic development perspective, can be utilized as very important tools to promote growth, right? So manufacturing and jobs are synonymous with each other. And I think SEZs deployed correctly and operated correctly in that they attract manufacturing investment are incredibly important for the development of South Africa's economy. Some of the challenges we face as SEZs are, the ability to correctly message the incentives which are applicable to SEZs. That's one example of a challenge that we face. So it's more around being accurate and having communications filter very seamlessly from the various spheres of government to the tenant ultimately who would occupy the investor. From a power supply perspective, because I see that as an example, it's interesting in that Atlantis as a whole doesn't have too many issues from a power supply perspective, but SEZs on a national scale probably are very much more impacted by load shedding than Atlantis Special Economic Zone is. Fortunately, at the current economic times, or the current times rather, we are finding that power supply is becoming a little bit more stable, in that we haven't had load shedding since March of this year. So again, I think the challenges are largely around communication across all three spheres of government. They do work well together, they collaborate well together, but getting that communication out to the investment community is seemingly the largest challenge at present. So I think South Africa is saying the right things globally in terms of its ambitions to decarbonize specifically the energy sector by, reducing the amount of carbon of coal-fired power stations, for example. So decommissioning of those coal-fired power stations is absolutely a step in the right direction from the perspective of trying to grow and make our economy greener. SEZs like ours and eco-industrial parks, which is also housed within the DTIC, part of the eco-industrial park program, those are all very good interventions in greening the economy. So you're shifting directly from a typical industrial property development to something that is a little bit more eco-friendly or sustainable, and aligned to some of the global SDGs. Which then provides a natural shift, I guess, to a greener economy. So at Atlantis SEZ, we not only attract the green technology manufacturers, and an example of such a manufacturer would be somebody manufacturing electric vehicles or electric scooters or anything in the e-mobility space, but we also deploy these electric vehicle chargers, for example. So we're trying to create a hub whereby the manufacturer is attracted to our region. They benefit from our development that we provide them, but at the same time also allowing for the employees of those various developments to arrive in Atlantis in their electric vehicles, be able to charge their electric vehicle or e-mobility solution, whatever they're using, whether it be an e-bike or a scooter, etc., and then be comfortable in knowing that they have the ability to provide green electrons into their green mobility solution. In addition, we're working very closely with the city, which is connected to the MyCity bus route, Atlantis being connected to the MyCity bus route presents another opportunity for the city to provide greener transport to the Atlantis Special Economic Zone workers or tenants occupying the area. So I think our vision, my vision in particular for the green economy, is to be inclusive by way of its definition. So socially inclusive. The reason the SEZ exists in Atlantis is really to increase the livelihoods of people living in that area. So I think, with the multiple opportunities which exist in the green economy space, that lends to the establishment of new factories, new developments, which ultimately results in the creation of these wonderful job sinks, which again is desperately required in the Atlantis region specifically. So I guess my vision is for what we aim to build in South Africa by way of green economic interventions or developments should result in the uplifting of people's lives. Yes, I was invited to the advisory board of the upcoming African Green Economy Summit. I think an event like this is incredibly important for multiple reasons, but one specific reason is we deal with a multitude of prospective tenants or manufacturers that we aim to build for, and many of these manufacturers have a dearth in capital, for example, right? So they require capital to invest into plant equipment and machinery before we can go out and build them a top structure. And I think a platform like AGES, the African Green Economy Summit, a summit which brings global capital and identifies African opportunities is key for us to be able to unlock finance for some of these tenants seeking finance to make their projects more bankable. So I think I've touched on that. AGES is very impactful in that they bring this global capital to African opportunities, the Atlantis Special Economic Zone being located in Africa, and trying to source tenants who are able to deliver on the green economy goals of the country, but often unable to access capital to do so. I think AGES is potentially incredibly impactful in that space because they crowd in a bunch of A, investment opportunities, and B, investors which can be aligned to said opportunities. I think, generally speaking, platforms like AGES and others out there are wonderful ways in getting the right people together in a room. In this specific case, we're looking at matching the capital opportunities with the capital. And I think if we continue on this trajectory of inviting both the capital providers and the potential projects into rooms, the more they see each other, the more they're exposed to each other, the more they understand each other, and the easier it'll become to deploy said capital into the market, growing ultimately the green economy for South Africa and Africa.